This beginner-friendly, high-yield ETF portfolio pays out $100 every single month. And the beauty of it is you're going to be blown away by the amount you have to invest to get that $100 every single month in passive income. So I hope you guys are excited. We're going to go over the 4 positions, how much I'm going to have in each position, and then we're going to give that full breakdown on how much we have to invest to achieve our goal. And yes, that would be $1,200 every single year in passive income. So I hope you beginners are ready. We firstly have to talk about what a distribution is, because it's not a dividend yield. And I initially was a dividend-focused investor, and now I invest primarily in ETFs and get distributions instead. But I still love my dividends. But a dividend is paid out by companies, not specifically by ETFs, but they can also pay out dividends. The ETFs we are talking about today pay out distribution rates or distribution yields. And what this is a measure of cash flow paid by an exchange-traded fund or an ETF, real estate investment trust, or REIT, a REIT, or another type of income-paying vehicle. And the reason there's a difference between distribution yield and dividend yield is the fact that distributions can change drastically. And the way they calculate it is based off the distribution that was last paid and the current price of the ETF. So that can get tricky because an ETF that is falling in price but has a higher yield going up can seem like a great option to buy. The problem with that is it actually is showing NAV decay or NAV erosion as we see the price continue to fall. And that's not what we want, right? We're relatively beginners in this income space. We want to set it and forget it. And that is the goal behind this portfolio. So it's diversified, but it's also going to give us some safe high yields. Our first purchase in the safe high yield portfolio is ticker JEPQ. There's a number of reasons for this. It's the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF. And we're going to start off with our key point. This is a Nasdaq fund. So there's a lot of different kinds of funds. You have Nasdaq, S&P 500, you have the Russell 2000, you can have Bitcoin, Ethereum, all sorts of things, gold, silver. We are going to diversify with our underlyings in each ETF as well to basically give us a little more security and more exposure. So with this, with the Nasdaq fund, you're going to get typically a little bit of higher yields. And with this fund, we're going to get a pretty decent yield of 11.5%. which is absolutely phenomenal. And another key factor that we're going to look at with all of our funds today is the expense ratio. This is how much money we are paying these companies to operate and own these ETFs. And so there is a fee. Unfortunately, the happy thing about it is it's very small in most cases. In this case, 0.35%, which is very solid. Now, we're going to compare all these funds at the end in a chart, and that's how we're going to announce exactly how much money we need in this portfolio. But having 30% in JEPQ is kind of a no-brainer because it's one of the older income funds, but still produces very solid income. And because it has more history, it can be a little bit easier to try and estimate how it holds up in different market sentiment, which is key. And if we want to buy this thing to hold it forever, we want to know that it can hold up in a down market and recover. Position number 2, that's going to get us that $100 every single month, is ticker SPYI. This is a NEOS ETF that focuses on the S&P 500. Now remember, our first one was on the Nasdaq. Now we're on the S&P 500. And also remember, if you're interested in income ETFs in making passive income, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with someone that needs to start investing, because it's crazy people just aren't interested in investing. I get it, I guess, but people should for their own benefit. Now back into the video. My spiel is over. SPYI. It's solid. We can see right off the bat it has a higher expense ratio of 0.68%. This is due to a number of reasons. It could have a higher profit margin, i.e. NEOS could be making more money than JP Morgan. It could be a more complex fund to operate. It could have better total returns than a lot of others, thus they charge more. For any reason, it has a higher ratio. Now I will say, in order to research for this video, I did backtest a lot of these S&P 500 high income ETFs because JP Morgan has one. They have JEPI, and SPYI outperformed it. So that's why I'm going with this one. The only downside in those comparisons is it doesn't have as much of a trading history. Now, NEOS has a lot of these funds and they have been performing really well. So we do have some security in that position, in my opinion. By the way, these two both pay monthly dividends, which is again is our goal for that $100. And SPYI even has a little bit of a higher distribution rate of 11.94%. It's solid, it's a relatively conservative and safe investment, and we don't have NAV erosion, which is a major issue in the high yield space. So I want to kind of talk about NAV erosion real quick. For this example, we are going to use ticker IWMY. It's a weekly dividend payer. Yes, they have weekly payers, but I want to show what NAV erosion is. Basically, it's when the funds are paying out too much in their distributions to make higher yields. So it looks like it's getting 30, 40, 50% in distributions, but the underlying price or the money we put in initially is falling. And this is very scary. We've had a lot of pullback recently for ETFs that are boasting 100+% yields, but they can't maintain it because your capital is actually eroding and you're really just getting paid your money back. So we have two charts on here, two lines, I should say, price return and total return. And what we see is price return is our initial investment. So if I invested $100 in IWMY in late 2024, it would be down $36.50. That's what my initial investment would look like. My total return would be higher than that. It'd be 7.55%. So I would actually make 7.55%, but I've lost that initial capital. Does that make sense? I hope that that does make sense, meaning I am still in the green with this fund, but I am not getting a 30, 40% win. I'm getting a 7.5% win, but it looks like I'm getting more because the yield is so high. But they're really just paying out of the NAV, the net asset value, higher than the income they're producing with the options. So I hope that makes sense. NAV erosion is a very scary thing, and if you're a newer income investor, you need to watch out for it. Now to our final 30% position, we are looking at ticker DIVO. It is the lowest yielder of this group, but there's a reason for that. There's a trade-off when it comes to lower yields. You typically get more security. So we have the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. It's different than the other two we've talked about. So we've covered the S&P 500 with SPYI, and we've covered JEPQ, giving us the Nasdaq exposure. And that's why we don't want to invest in another Nasdaq or another S&P fund, because we don't want to be overexposed to those indices. With DIVO, you're going to be invested in high-quality, dividend-oriented stocks, and they're also going to write covered calls on individual stocks, giving us a decent 5.5% yield and a little bit more growth opportunity depending on how the underlyings perform. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's a lower yield. Why wouldn't I just go all in on one of the other ones that yields 10 to 12%? Well, you can. If you're interested in higher risk, that's what some people do. But with DIVO and being a beginner, I want to showcase the power of having it all covered in a simple beginner portfolio. And again, we're still going to make that $100 in dividend income, distribution income every single month. And so when we slide down here, we can see there's 25 positions. Our expense ratio is 0.56%. It's a little bit pricey for the total return, but I do like Amplify ETFs. I might be a little bit biased. So 5.6% distribution, and it's going to pay out monthly. You can go through and look at all the dividends, but I want to talk about the holdings because these are going to be different than the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 with their top 10 holdings. We will have some crossover as some of these funds are likely in the S&P 500 or are likely in the Nasdaq 100 like Microsoft, but others may not be. It gives us a little bit of exposure to a different underlying. So we have Caterpillar, we have International Business Machines Corporation, RTX Corp, Microsoft, that one of course is in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, American Express, the Goldman Sachs Group, we have CME Group, JP Morgan Chase, Visa, and Home Depot. So a lot of banks, some credit card companies, some tech, kind of all over the place, and then Caterpillar. So Caterpillar and Home Depot. So you're kind of covering it all. And so they go right over everything with their selected methodology, how they're writing, how they're making the dividend income. And they're really just focusing on these high quality, large cap companies with dividend history, with a very solid dividend history. And then they're writing covered calls on these stocks on a tactical basis. And you can even go through the sector allocation. We can see it's pretty heavily invested in financials. And then we have a mix infotech, we have industrials, we have consumer discretionary, where the Nasdaq 100 is more tech heavy companies. Now we're getting a little bit more evenly spread out with our sectors and what we are holding. So far, we have 3 funds totaling 90%. So you might be asking yourself, what's our final 10% going to be? And for me, I'm going with some cryptocurrency. I'm going with ticker BTCI. This is only 10% because crypto is relatively high risk, especially compared to the funds we've looked at for this portfolio, but it does distribute about 27% in distribution rate. The expense ratio is also very high at 0.98%. So sometimes people like to just try and dive all in into these higher yielding assets, but BTCI has taken quite a dip, which we're going to look at in just a moment. The reason I like Bitcoin is because, hey, it's Bitcoin. It's a very big name. It serves a purpose. And for those that are interested in crypto, it's a relatively solid choice. BTCI is one of the best performing high income ETFs in the crypto space. If you don't like Bitcoin and you want to buy Ethereum, Neos also has a fund for that. If you want to buy gold, if you want to buy silver, those are also options. And if you wanted to go with the extremely safe route, you could go with a T-bill ETF like ticker CSHI by Neos and get a 4.5% distribution and just boom, make those payments. But I should say get those payments. But in this case, we want a little bit of a higher income portfolio with some risk and some safer picks. So 10% is going into BTCI, and that's 100% of our portfolio allocated. So now let's talk about the performance of all of these funds, and then we'll see the amount we have to invest in order to get that $100 every single month. So we have our positions, just to recap: 30% in JEPQ, 30% in SPYI, 30% in DIVO, and 10% in BTCI, and that's going to get us that $100 every single month, and we're at 100% of our portfolio allocated. Now, sliding down, I want to showcase first the NAV, or net asset value. This is the price return of these funds. So you can see some are a little bit scary. BTCI is down almost 24%. And because of those risks, that's why we are not going super heavy into a more volatile asset. We're beginner income investors, and this portfolio is very simple in those regards. We can also see that the funds have done pretty well. DIVO's up 6.65% in growth. It's the lowest yielder, but it has gone up the most in price, which is very important. Now we're going to flip this and we're going to go to total return. What we're looking at now is just the price of our NAV, what we paid versus what it's worth now. And now we're going to include the distributions. And here we see it's a very different game, although one story is familiar with BTCI, but we'll get to that. JEPQ is our orange line, and this is actually up pretty decently, 14.22%. So far, it is the best performer in the portfolio. And that is because it's on the Nasdaq 100, which has been outperforming the S&P 500 and the high-yielding dividend stocks that DIVO holds. Then we have SPYI. This one's up 13.45%, right behind JEPQ. Very solid and very consistent monthly income, and we can't really complain. Next, we have DIVO. It's pulled back a little bit recently, but at one point it was almost the top performer right around here late in November. It was the top performer at up 13.37%. Small pullback, but that is okay. And last but not least, we have ticker BTCI, which is only up 1.44%. But for the better part of this year, it was the best performer, at one point reaching over 30% in the green. The reason it has fallen is because Bitcoin has fallen, and that's why we don't go all in on one sector, on one ETF. We want to diversify. So the big question is, how much do I have to invest in these in order to make that $100 every single month? Well, if we did a 30-30-30-10 split, the total amount you'd have to invest would be $11,100. Not too bad. And that is going to net you about $1,200 every single year, because we're averaging around a 10 to 12% distribution rate, because BTCI is a high yielder and DIVO is a lower yielder. They almost even out. Now, one thing we have to mention, though, is we could still see a worse return than that. We could see a falling of the NAV if we do see Bitcoin continue to fall, if we see the Nasdaq 100, the S&P 500 begin to fall. So you have to factor that in. And that's where DRIP comes in, dividend reinvestment, meaning when these ETFs pay out their distributions, you can either keep it in cash, you can invest it in something else like a growth ETF or a growth stock, or you can put it back in to this portfolio. And what I like to do with my dividends is I hold on to them until I see a bit of a drop in price, like I've seen right now with BTCI, and then I start to reinvest at a lower cost basis. All in all, for $11,100 to get $100 every single month from this beginner dividend ETF portfolio, I think it's pretty simple. It's high yield, but we're diversified. So I think it's a pretty good portfolio. Let me know what you guys think if you would swap out JEPQ or any of these other ones. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe and send this to someone who needs to start investing right away.